KwaZulu-Natal MEC for Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs, Sihle Zikalala, told mayors, councillors and executive members in municipalities under the uMgungundlovu and Harry Gwala district that corruption was a sign of disrespect against communities that elected them. Zikalala warned those gathered to guard against some disturbing trends where municipalities are failing to spend their grants, or rather spend the grants in areas that they are not meant for. He's also expressed his displeasure at delays in implementing projects and delivering infrastructure. The MEC joins us now to tell us more. MEC, good evening and thank you very much for your time and for joining us tonight here on In Focus. So two issues that you raising here, and we'll touch maybe on the others as well. One is the failure to spend the grant, but two is the grant that is spent in the areas that are not meant for. What role is province going to play here in ensuring that grants are spent in accordance to what they are meant to be spent for and at the time in which they are meant to be spent?
Thanks. Good evening to you, Thabo, and all viewers of the program. The local government, as we always say, is key on service delivery. But most of the municipalities are dependent on funding from the national government and to a lesser extent the provincial government. These are monies that are directed to specific work or projects, especially the infrastructure. It gives a problem when you see some municipalities not using that money appropriately. The first is to ensure that municipalities plan in advance for the allocations. They must develop their business plans and ensure that a year or just when the year starts, the financial year starts, they hit the ground running, ensuring the implementation of their business plans. But secondly, other municipalities tend to use this money in areas that are not prescribed for. The money will be allocated for infrastructure, and you will find municipalities taking this money and use it for paying salaries and all of those things. Or they will use it on easy to do. We want to see the grant allocation dedicated on infrastructure development so that we'll be able to improve development and be able to inject activities that brings life. If you are investing on infrastructure, you mean that there will be economic activity and therefore people will get job opportunities. More than that, we are saying the municipalities must allocate at least 8% of their infrastructure budget direct for maintenance and repair. Because if we don't do maintenance and repair, you can't get that we will then experience a dilapidation of infrastructure that is there.
But are you going to be able, where you are sitting, to have the ability to interface with these projects from start to finish? In other words, are you going to be able to have sight of them where you are sitting to say, this one now has a business plan, this one has now been funded, it has started, and this is how it's progressing, and be able to tell when things are not going right in time?
Yes, through our infrastructure directorate, we will be able to ensure that we monitor. Firstly, we must ensure that before the beginning of a financial year, we meet with all municipalities, get presentations on what they are planning for the forthcoming year. And thereafter, we should be able to enlist these projects and monitor them on an ongoing basis up until all of them are implemented. So we are going to put in place a sound plan to monitor the implementation, especially of grants that are sent to municipalities by provincial and national government.
Yeah. You're saying structures responsible for oversight function in municipalities are not fully capacitated. What what structures are you referring to here, and what actions are going to be taken to capacitate these structures?
Well, the structures that are responsible will be the MPEC committee. It serves as a public account committee in the municipality. It is a committee that is dedicated to oversee the functioning of the executive, and that projects are implemented accordingly. Now, you find that in hung municipalities, the position maybe of a chair of the MPEC will be used easily for bargaining and will not be treated as the strategic position. And that is one area that we want to emphasize. But what is it that we are going to do? We will continue to train all MPEC chairs and committees in the province. But we will link them also with the provincial SCOPA so that they also get the support from the legislature, so that they are capacitated enough to be independent and monitor what is happening at an executive level.
Yeah. How are you going to give them more teeth, or maybe capacitate them a little bit more and nudge them towards a higher standard of financial accountability? Tell you what, for example, there are reports of an employee in the Msunduzi municipality who is caught up in fraud. The employee got bail, and in some instances they get back and they continue to work in the municipality.
No, we will not allow that. Once there's consequence management, that should be taken up until the end. But what we are going to do is that we will monitor all reports, whether it's a report from the AG or a forensic report or the report from the MPEC. It must be implemented, because the problem is when there are reports that are presented to the council and not implemented. That undermines consequence management.
Treasury says of the 257 municipalities, 58 are currently plagued with this problem of unfunded budgets. You're not the only one who's raised this. Your counterpart also in the Eastern Cape has also raised this issue of unfunded budgets. How are you going to deal? Are you going to intervene directly in these particular instances? How are you going to nudge municipalities not to spend money that they don't have?
Well, what is important is the collaboration between COPTA and the provincial treasury. Firstly, to assist the municipalities in finalizing their budget. But secondly, to be together and apply same measures that once the council comes with unfunded budget, that budget should not be approved by the province. And all of us should descend to that municipality to attend to that situation, because if you allow the unfunded budget, unless that unfunded budget relates to issues like previous debt to ESCOM and others, then if it is not that, it will mean you are playing into a problem and accepting the wrong things.
MEC, are you going to intervene in the Msunduzi municipality? There's been issues that are being raised around dysfunctional ward committees because of internal disputes. In fact, they were quite surprised that you didn't mention it in your address yesterday.
We did. We highlighted it and took it up. We know that there are 47 wards where there are no ward committees at all, and we are taking up that issue with them, and we've given them the period. They have already started establishing ward committees in this quarter, and we expect that by the end of this quarter, they will account for all of those 47 wards.
MEC, I appreciate your time. Thank you very much for coming on once again tonight. That is the MEC for Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs in the province of KwaZulu-Natal, Sihle Zikalala.